Simon. Only you were the one.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most trying, demanding, and outrageously difficult bosses that have plagued gamers since the start of the 2000s.
Sorry, but I don't lose.
Number 30. Alma, Final Fantasy IX. Super bosses in Final Fantasy games are no joke, but who could have guessed that one of the deadliest among them would be a giant spinning ball pulsating with all the colors of the rainbow? Regardless of its spherical appearance, Alma is a true monster, one that will have you throwing back Phoenix Downs to stay in the game. Not only will it constantly heal itself, but always target the party with their elemental weaknesses. And if that's not enough, it will unleash everything from Doomsday to level 5 Death and even Meteor. Number 29. Virgil, Devil May Cry 3, Dante's Awakening.
We are the sons of Sparta. Within each of us flows his blood. But more importantly, his soul!
Dante's demonic twin is a challenge no matter which game he appears in, but the final brawl in the third entry is especially egregious for the unprepared. Virgil's speed and ferocity are unmatched, able to deflect all projectiles, while his sword slashes can easily reach you no matter how much you bounce around the arena. Pair that with his devil trigger, and the whole ordeal is sure to decimate your motivation. Unless you've mastered the game's mechanics to their limits, Virgil is going to take you out to pasture.
Leave me and go, if you don't want to be trapped in the demon world. I'm staying. This place was our father's home.
Number 28. Alma, the first Berserker, Kazan.
How you must have suffered to be here.
Alma, what happened to you?
The newest Souls-like contender on the block came out swinging with an abundance of bosses with enough difficulty to their names to grind down the willpower of all players, but none more so than its final foe. A former friend of Kazan, Alma took it upon himself to use the power of chaos to make himself stronger for the cause, which in turn naturally corrupted him into an absolute monster. Across 3 grueling phases, you'll find yourself facing non-stop barrages of elemental AoEs, projectiles from the void, as well as swift strikes with his bone wings, all with minimal windows for countering. Kazan may be a berserker, but besting this forsaken mage requires the patience of a saint.
Kazan, why do you stubbornly refuse to understand?
Number 27. Super Tyrant, Resident Evil 2.
Come on.
For the majority of the game, Mr. X relentlessly hunts down the likes of Leon and Claire without pause, made all the worse by the fact that the fedora-wearing monster appears to be nigh unkillable no matter how many shotgun shells it took to the face. This all comes to a head during the climax, where Mr. X ditches the trench coat for its true guise. While you might think that him having such an obvious weak point would make the encounter easier, you'd be dead wrong. Not only is the Tyrant as tanky as ever, but there's also every chance you'll be excessively low on ammo by this point. And worst of all, you face him on the tiniest platform imaginable, meaning every swing could be your end. Number 26. Nick's Avatar, Persona 3.
I am merely a harbinger of the fall. Although Nyx and myself are now one and the same.
When you're tangoing with the final boss of a JRPG, you know the difficulty is going to spike hard. Even still, 14 phases? We're still not sure that record has been beaten. As the personification of death, Nick's avatar is a world-ender that will constantly switch between every tarot card of the major arcana, changing up its strength, weakness, and affinities in the process. Unless you've got a persona for every situation, then at least one of these forms is going to give you a hard time. Given the original Persona's fatigue system, it's all too easy to be wiped out by this turn-based gauntlet of a boss. Number 25. The Burst, Fury.
Go get him, boys. This is not a drill.
Nothing quite like a sniper to ruin your day, but the Burst goes far beyond just being a sharpshooter tucked away off screen. Not only will she constantly speed away from danger while turning invisible, making close quarters combat exceedingly difficult to pull off, but she has a set of drones on hand to keep piling on the damage. Even when you do corner her, the variety of projectiles she can unleash will force you to dance around constantly to avoid being overwhelmed. She is a one-woman bullet hell.
That's enough. Assuming manual control.
Number 24. Galdera the Fallen, Octopath Traveler 2. Somehow, Galdera returned, and now he's twice as dangerous as he used to be. The final boss from the original Octopath Traveler makes an insidious reappearance as an optional super boss at the end of the sequel, where he'll swiftly put all your party to shame with the sheer number of abilities it's got under its non-existent belt. Repelling damage, nullifying status effects, constant healing, summoning equally dangerous sub-bosses to aid in battle, augmenting its damage, and that's all just phase 1. Unless your team has been specifically designed from the ground up to overcome this monster, there's no victory to be found here. Number 23. Unidentified Naytiba, Stellar Blade.
In spite of everything, I do wonder why he chose you instead of me. I've already proven this much, but why?
Eve may be able to slice apart giant alien entities in her skin-tight attire with zero issues most of the time, but this flying nightmare is a whole other story. The creature that would later be revealed to be Raven is lethal on the ground and in the air. When it's not stringing together extensive hard-to-read combos with its talons and dive bombing from above, it's unleashing insta-kill techniques that you have to leap through all kinds of hoops in order to disable. This feathered fiend is a menace through and through, whose antics will have you severely tempted to reach for the difficulty settings.
Wait. Raven? From the Legacies?
You're right, she's the one who left the records.
Number 22. Erlang, the Sacred Divinity, Black Myth Wukong. Given his grandiose display in the tutorial, it was clear that Wukong's celestial nemesis was a deity who knew how to throw down, making him the ideal candidate for a secret boss. What we didn't expect would be how stratospherically difficult he would prove to be. Even with all of the Destined One's numerous abilities, Erlang shirks off damage like it's nothing, probably because he's the only boss to have an extra defense bar on top of his health. Disabling your transformations, blistering the entire arena with projectiles, summoning his hound to chomp at our ankles, Erlang shows you no mercy here. While his second phase is ironically more manageable despite turning into a giant stone beast, his humanoid form broke many a gamer's spirits. Number 21. Rodan, Bayonetta. Between heaven and hell, he alone is the honored one. Honored to beat the tar out of you for daring to take on his might. Resident gunsmith Rodan has always acted as Bayonetta's go-to weaponeer and informant, but he's also made a name for himself as the hardest boss in every single game in the franchise so far. Of the three, his debut in the first Bayonetta as the angelic Father Rodan was by far the most daunting. The Infinite One is so relentless that not even the game can properly follow the speed of his punches. Your only hope is to remain mobile, not get caught, avoid his homing attacks like the plague, and be as precise as you can be when choosing to land your attacks. Get tripped up once, and it's over.
I gotta hand it to you. You sure let me have my fun.
Number 20. Maneater, Demon Souls. Bringing in a second boss while you're in the middle of fighting the first one is a surefire way to spike the difficulty. Most bosses found in From Software's games are going to be a challenge, and Maneater easily takes the top spot for Demon Souls. Not only does it come with the necessary power to do its studio proud, but it's also fought on a rather narrow bridge. Having less room to maneuver and attack in is a pain, but not as much as a second Maneater. After enough time has passed, or if the boss's health bar drops to a quarter full, it will summon a pal to help do you in, doubling your workload. Number 19. Laxasia the Complete, Lies of P.
I believed you were a good boy.
While we'd be remiss not to mention the nameless puppet who almost made this list, it's Laxasia the Complete who reigns supreme within Krat. With her Electric Affinity Greatsword, she'll first start off this battle with slow bruiser-like techniques. However, once you reach her second phase, the difficulty spikes up as she drops her armor and proceeds to strike you down with her super fast attacks and lightning projectiles. If you get too close to her, she'll use a huge damage-dealing AoE electrical blast. Laxasia's move pool is also full of feints, and she constantly circles around you, meaning you'll have to pay close attention to everything she does. Number 18. Alma, Ninja Gaiden. Alma is not your typical boss encounter in Ninja Gaiden. She stands as one of the toughest adversaries in the series due to her agile movements and powerful attacks that keep players constantly on their toes. Her ability to fly around the arena while launching energy spheres creates a chaotic battle where even seasoned gamers struggle to find safe ground. Timing your dodges perfectly while landing precise hits is crucial, but easier said than done when facing her unpredictable patterns. And if that wasn't bad enough, you also have to contend with a very hard to control camera. Number 17. IB1 Cell 240, Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. While you could easily argue that Balteus or even the true final boss All Might should be in this spot, we're going to have to give it to this frightfully fast mecha. Not only does it have a design very reminiscent of Cubalate from the Gundam series, but it also functions like it too, with its powerful long-range funnel-like laser beams that can hit you from many different angles. You'll have to have excellent reaction times in order to survive its onslaught and get some of your own damage in. And if you manage to down it, it'll come straight back up again for round 2.
The coral has carried us, disseminated us across the stars.
Number 16. Demi-Fiend, Shin Megami Tensei 5. Considering all the powerful demons Demi-Fiend conquered in Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne, it's absolutely no surprise that this encounter is a complete battle of survival. Not only is Demi-Fiend's stats all completely maxed, but he will resist all elements and status ailments. He comes equipped with a plethora of powerful skills that you'll all remember using from his debut game, such as Freikugel. Much like Naobino themselves, the protagonist-turned-DLC boss will summon his very own demons to back him up, replacing them when defeated. It's highly recommended that you go into this fight with your team at the max level of 99, otherwise you're in for a very, very long fight. Number 15. Balos, Cave Story. For most of its playtime, Cave Story is a challenging but fairly conquerable game. But if you want to get the true ending to this beloved indie adventure, you're going to get the rug pulled from under your feet. The Bloodstained Sanctuary is an absolutely brutal final level, and waiting for you at the end of it is Balos. This guy does not give you a break, flying around, summoning lightning, and trying to stomp your skull. But that's nothing compared to his second form, which takes the stomping to another level. The final form is just cruel, and honestly, you're best off firing everything you have at him in the hopes that you get lucky. Worst of all, it's very hard to learn his patterns, as each time you lose the battle, you start from the beginning of the sanctuary, meaning you'll likely have forgotten everything you learned by the time you reach him again. Number 14. Cthulhu, World of Warcraft. Cthulhu is one of World of Warcraft's most iconic and challenging raid bosses. With its devastating eye-beams, tentacles, and his ability to consume players, defeating Cthulhu requires precise execution and perfect timing from every member of your party. So why does this battle make it on this list? Well, due to a bug, Cthulhu was impossible to defeat for quite a long time after he was added into the game. Of course, Blizzard would end up patching it later down the line, allowing for people to finally beat this old god. But for anyone who battled against its original form back in the day, it's an encounter they'll certainly never forget. Number 13. Sister Frida and Father Ariandel, Dark Souls 3.
Blood surge. I can see it. Feel it.
While both the Nameless King and Slave Knight Gale are both worthy candidates for this list, we have to acknowledge the brutality that is the Sister Frida boss fight. Equipped with a long-range giant scythe, this battle is a crazy test of endurance right from the get-go. If you manage to defeat her first form, she'll revive herself and ring forth Father Ariandel into the battle. But Sister Frida actually has a third Black Flame form that's even worse than the previous two parts of this fight. Be sure to use your Estus flasks wisely during this long, drawn-out battle. Number 12. Ravenbeak, Metroid Dread. Like those that came before it, Metroid Dread upholds the high difficulty the series is known for, and Nintendo couldn't have included a better boss to make us feel actual dread than Beak. In 3 brutal phases, the Chozo warrior demands extremely fast reaction time unless you want your health quickly depleted to 0. Whether you're right next to him or on the other side of the arena, it doesn't matter. He can blast you apart just as easily as rip you to shreds with his claws. His agility and strength is unmatched by anything Metroid gave us this century. In the ultra-hard Dread mode, he may even be the toughest in the whole series. Number 11. Gna, God of War Ragnarok.
Good! I'll see you pay for what you've done!
And here we thought Sigrun was bad. The Valkyrie Queen of 2018's God of War provided a taxing battle, to be sure, but Sony Santa Monica outdid themselves with Gna. As the final big post-game mission, Ragnarok goes out with a bang, if you can get through it. She naturally has the highest power level of any enemy at 9. So even if you drop the difficulty level all the way down, her hits will do major damage.
Careful, brother! You're covered in Bifrost!
Most of her attacks are hard to predict, and if they connect, they can drain your health bar in a matter of moments. That's not to mention 2 unblockable grabs, which are far more infuriating than any of her other attacks.
God of no one!
Number 10. Absolute Radiance, Hollow Knight. The final boss of Hollow Knight is a tough challenge to overcome. But with the Godmaster expansion, developer Team Cherry made it even harder. Absolute Radiance is a mix of undeniable power and an ungodly speed at which it can unleash it. Most of its attacks have either been increased in strength or, in terms of its projectile-based attacks, in capacity. Thankfully, your little knight should be well powered by the time you face it. And since it's an enhanced version of a boss fought previously, you should know what to do even if actually doing it is a hassle. Fought across 6 phases, Absolute Radiance is the peak of what Hollow Knight can offer. Number 9. Yozora, Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind.
Time to end this.
Despite being games based around Disney franchises, the Kingdom Hearts series is no stranger to brutally hard boss fights that would leave any adult weeping. The DLC for the latest main entry, however, outdid everything before it with Yozora. This mysterious character will hit you with a barrage of attacks that'll quickly take all of your HP as he teleports around the arena. He also has the ability to decrease your max HP, as well as steal your Keyblade, which stops you from being able to attack, guard, and use magic. Trust us when we say you'll be hearing the low health beeping noise throughout most of this fight.
I guess that my powers aren't needed yet.
Number 8. Fatalis, Monster Hunter World. In a game series where the main objective is to fight monsters in tough boss fights, Fatalis stands out above all the rest. This Elder Dragon wields an extremely dangerous moveset with 3 different super attacks that'll guarantee you'll get carded if you're hit by just one. If you and your teammates fail to break its head by the start of the 3rd phase, Fatalis will become supercharged, with all of its fire attacks turning blue and causing even more damage. Even if you have the strongest gear available, you'll need to take advantage of everything the game offers you during this battle, such as siege weapons, mantles, and wallbangs. And worst of all is you only have 30 minutes to defeat it. Number 7. Dr. Cal's Robot, Cuphead. While Chef Saltbaker of the DLC came close to matching it, there's just no topping the frustration that comes with fighting Dr. Cal's robot. Cuphead mostly consists of boss fights, the majority of which can easily wall up the player, but this one really tested our dedication in reaching the end. The first phase sees the robot utilizing a variety of projectiles while you blast apart the 3 pieces. With each piece destroyed, more attacks are added. Phase 2 has homing bombs to look out for, while Phase 3 gives you more projectiles to dodge, along with electrified walls. the whole ordeal is a literal bullet hell, and you won't have nearly enough firepower to make it balanced. Number 6. Sans, Undertale. If you choose to go down the genocide route, meaning you've killed every single monster you can come across instead of sparing them, Sans will be waiting for you. And honestly, you probably deserve his wrath. By far the hardest challenge Undertale has to offer by a mile, the fight against Sans completely clashes with his good vibes persona. You'll approach the fight like many others, dodging attacks with your little heart. But most of those attacks are impossible to see coming and lightning fast. There is no making it through without a lot of trial and error, which means a lot of deaths at the hands of this dopey skeleton. It takes the utmost determination. Number 5. Orphan of Kos, Bloodborne. We're not sure what's more disturbing about this thing, its fleshy weapon or its tendency to shriek when it lunges at you. The Orphan of Kos serves as the final boss in the Old Hunters DLC, and, in typical From Software fashion, is an absolute monster to fight. Despite being much smaller than many other bosses in the game, it's just as oppressive with its deadly leaps, if not more so. If you're caught by one, say goodbye to a major portion of your health. Thankfully, it doesn't transform into something more unsettling for its second phase. It just gets a lot faster and more aggressive, which is saying quite a bit considering its first phase. Number 4. Absolute Virtue, Final Fantasy XI. We'll admit this one should come with an asterisk. Found in one of the franchise's MMO installments, Absolute Virtue was designed by Square Enix to be unbeatable, at least by the studio's terms. This was due to an enormous health pool, a tendency to auto-heal each turn, and its use of the Benediction spell, a full heal that also cured status effects. The problem was that the studio didn't reveal this, prompting teams of players to spend literal hours fighting it only for naught. Some were able to do it, but Square Enix retaliated by removing any methods used to beat it from the game. Only after a wave of backlash was Absolute Virtue finally nerfed, making him tough but at least beatable. Number 3. Malenia, Blade of Miquella, Elden Ring. In any other game, a boss declaring they've never known defeat would make us eager to give them a rude awakening. But in a From Software game, we knew we had a lot of deaths in our future. Malenia quickly gained a well-earned reputation for being the holy grail of painfully hard boss fights in Elden Ring. Avoiding her is extremely hard due to her long sword and multi-hit flurry attack. And taking damage will stress you out more than normal, as doing so will heal her even if you block. Phase 2 refills almost her entire health bar while adding Scarlet Rot to her attacks, a status effect that deals damage over time. There's no shame in summoning allies for this one. Number 2. Isshin the Sword Saint, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice.
Sekiro.
Unfortunately, you can't summon friends in Sekiro, so when it comes to the final boss, you'll just have to hope your skills are up to snuff. You'll already be on the edge having fought Genichiro directly before this. Even if that wasn't the case, Isshin's 3 drawn-out phases will make you feel painfully outclassed. His sword slashes have surprising range and will catch you off guard, as will his AoE attacks. His patterns grow more random with each pause, making it hard to get a read on what's coming next. It's an incredibly satisfying victory, but one that's definitely not earned easily. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Consort Radahn, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree. Another entry for Elden Ring, you ask? Well, this final boss fight from the DLC Shadow of the Erdtree is here for a very good reason. As soon as you enter through the fog, Radahn immediately leaps towards you, giving you no time at all to summon your spirit ashes. His relentless move pool will require many tries for you to memorize them all. It gets even worse when you enter his second phase, as not only is he even faster, but will start to cast even wider AoE attacks. This boss fight was so ridiculous that From Software released a patch almost 3 months later, nerfing a lot of Radahn's aspects. But for those of you who managed to conquer the original version, we salute you. Which of these bosses proved to be too much for you? Let us know down in the comments.
Fret not, Father. We have no need of thy flail.